Howdy folks. My littlest brother requested a how to drive a tractor video, so y'all get to benefit. This is Tim Rankin on the Farm Tough channel, and it's time for our daily cow move. These chickens are laying like crazy right now. This is why I don't worry about weeds anymore. I've got a T4040 New Holland. It's got about 84 horsepower. 4-wheel drive, and obviously a loader. Back here, we have our 3-point hitch that we use to just put a drawbar on so we can move the eggmobile and the feather net. If this goes up and down, there's all sorts of attachments you can get for the 3-point hitch. Wood chippers, plows, hay rakes, hay mowers, all sorts of stuff. This is the top link for the 3-point hitch. Then we have 2 hydraulic ports. You just stick your hydraulic hose in there. There's a control lever up here by the seat. We've got our power takeoff, our PTO shaft here, and that's what powers implements and stuff. I use that all the time. That's how we get feed out of our feed buggies that have augers on them. Then we have just the main drawbar for pulling normal stuff that doesn't need lifted. Here we have our hydraulic hoses coming up for the loader. You can take the loader off, but we just, pretty much all our tractors have loaders, and we just leave them on because we use them all the time. And then we've got a bucket. You can take the bucket off. There's release levers up here that detach the bucket, and then you can set the bucket down and drive away and go put pallet forks or whatever else you have on there. I just have a bucket, so I do everything with the bucket. I'll move my pig feeders and everything. Alright, so obviously seat and steering wheel. The forward and reverse lever is this one right here. It's got a golf ball on it. You pull it towards you, that's forwards. Pull it towards you, stick it back, that's reverse, and then there's a little neutral spot right in the middle. There was a diagram on here, but the handle fell off, so we put a golf ball instead. We've got this 4-wheel drive lever. Up engages the front tires to make it 4-wheel drive, and down disengages them, so you're just rear-wheel drive again. We've got the PTO engage lever. Push it down to engage, pull it up to disengage. We've got our parking brake, our seat adjustment knob. Over here we have the secondary shifter. A is the super slow gear, B is the middle gear, and then C is the gear I'm usually in. And then I have 4 other gears on this other shifter, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3-point hitch lever. Up makes it go up, down makes it go down. And then we have the hydraulics. Depending on which way you put the hoses up, one way will make your piece of equipment do one thing, and then the other way will make it do the other thing, and then there's neutral in the center. And then we have the loader bucket joystick. Pulling it back makes the loader go up. Pushing it forwards makes the loader go down. Pulling it to you rolls the bucket back, so you could scoop something up, and then pushing it away dumps it. And then we have our throttle, which is like a gas pedal that stays put wherever you set it. So it's got the turtle and the rabbit. Obviously we're at low throttle right now. If we wanted to go faster, we'd push it up and it would stay there. It's like putting on your cruise control. But if you want to go back down, you got to push it back down. It's not like cruise control where you hit the brakes and it cuts off. And then over here, a lot of tractors will have this too, is a gas pedal. And that's the same as the throttle, but it's connected to the same thing. I can move it with the throttle, but that lets off just like a car gas pedal when you stop pushing on it. And then we have our key here to start it. Tractors are unique in that they have a double brake. This is for the left back tire and this is for the right back tire, and I keep them locked together so when I push it, both back tires stop. Otherwise, one will stop and the other one will keep going. And tractors don't have front brakes, they just have rear brakes. And then over here on this side, we have the clutch right here, and that disengages. That's disengage and this is engage. It disengages or engages the engine to the transmission. So if you want to go, you let it up and it engages the engine and transmission. and then your tractor will drive. And if you want to stop, then you push it down. And if you want to stay stopped, then you got to take it out of gear so that you can let it up and it won't drive away on you. Alrighty, let's walk through the steps, how to get this thing started and drive. Most tractors, if you understand the fundamentals, you'll be able to climb in it and figure out how to get it started in just a couple seconds. Almost all tractors are basically the same. So the first thing we're going to want to do, check our parking brake, make sure we're not going to roll anywhere. So the parking brake's on. Then I'm going to push the clutch down. That makes sure our engine is disconnected from our transmission, so we're not going to go anywhere, nothing's going to drive away. I'm going to check my 3-point hitch raise and lower lever, because if it's up all the way, but the tractor's been sitting for a while, that 3-point hitch is going to probably droop down, and as the instant you start that tractor, the 3-point hitch is going to go up again. And you want to make sure that there's nothing back there that is going to get picked up in the air, or there's nobody standing on it or anything that could be damaged or get hurt. So I'm going to make sure that that is in the same spot as my 3-point hitch, so it's not going to move when I start it. Then I'm going to put my foot on the brake real good as safety to make sure we're not going to go anywhere when we turn this key. And then I'm going to check and make sure that it is out of gear. So I'm going to push this into forwards and then pull it into neutral so I know exactly where it is. And then I'm going to grab the gear shifter over here. You can see it's not in gear. That would be in a gear. It doesn't wiggle much. That's out of gear. Now I'm ready to turn the key and start it. It's all out of gear. Once I start it, I'll know that I can take my foot off the clutch, and it's safe and it's not going to drive away, and if the parking brake's on, I can climb out if I need to or whatever. But I always want to make sure that it's out of gear before you take your foot off the clutch, unless you want to drive somewhere. So let's get her started. Alrighty, so now we know how to start the tractor. Let's walk through the steps about driving it. So let's just pretend it started. Otherwise I'm not going to be able to talk because it's a little bit loud. So we've got our clutch pushed down, still got our parking brake on, all the gears are out, and I've got my foot on the brake. I'm going to take the parking brake off, and some tractors have a parking gear, so you'll just have to take it out of park and then you go to find the gear that you want. I'm going to shift it into the direction that I want to go, forwards or reverse. So I'm going to say I'm going forwards. I'm going to make sure I'm in the secondary gear that I want to be in, and it's in C, which is what I usually drive in. And then I'm going to pick number 1 over here, which you all can't see. Here, I can just pull this off. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to slide her over and stick it in number 1. Now my foot's still on the clutch. If I let it up right now, it would drive away. So I'm going to keep that down. I'm going to pull back on my loader joystick to raise my loader up so I'm not going to drag it on the ground. And then I'm going to check to make sure I'm hooked up or unhooked, whatever I need to be. And then when I'm ready to go, I'm going to let this foot up real slow. That's key, slow, till I feel it engage. And once it starts going, let it up all the way and take your foot off. Now, you gotta understand, once you let that up, if you fall off, the tractor's gonna keep driving. It is not gonna stop unless you push this or turn the key off. So you need to be really careful, make sure you're not doing anything stupid, and don't climb off when it's driving or anything. It doesn't care if you're on there or not. It'll just drive without you. All right, so then if I want to stop, I just push this down and then push on the brakes, and that'll stop it. Tractors do not have very strong brakes. And most tractors, you can mash on the brakes all you want, and if your throttle's up a little bit, you're not going to stop it. The engine's just going to keep driving it, brakes or no brakes. So you got to push this if you want to stop it. Alrighty, I'm going to get it started, and then I'll drive just a little bit so y'all can see everything's out of gear. Clutch down. Pick the secondary gear I want. I'm going to go with A, so it's super slow this time. Pick forward. my brake. I'm gonna go backwards. Set it up really slow. Alrighty, just a couple words on safety here, since this is a heavy piece of machinery. When you go to start this thing, always make sure you're in the driver's seat. Don't be doing this, reaching around in here. There's a safety switch that makes it so you can't do that. It won't start unless it's all out of gear. But if that safety switch is bad or somebody's tampered with it, and you start that thing in gear, it'll just run you right over. Always be careful where your loader is. It takes a little bit of getting used to driving something with that's out in front of you, unlike a car where, I mean, you can just see right there, your car, in front of your car is just right there. Your loader's way out in front of you. It'll swing different on corners and stuff. And of course, be careful, don't stick it in power lines or anything. Tractors do not have very good brakes. They only have brakes in the rear tires. So unless you're in four-wheel drive, you can skid your back tires and your front tires will just be rolling along. They're not going to help you stop. You can pull a load up a hill heavier than you can take down a hill. The key to going down a hill is being in control at all times. When you're going up a hill, the weight goes on your back tires. So you can go up a hill and come over the top of the hill and go down the other side, and it'll just push you all the way down. You'll just slide all the way to the bottom and crash in a big pile. I've had that almost happen to me a couple times. So one thing is make sure you're in four-wheel drive, and if you don't have a four-wheel drive tractor, be very, very careful going down a hill. And if you kind of start going down the other side of the hill and you realize you're not in four-wheel drive, most, if not all tractors, you can shift into four-wheel drive while you're driving. So just yank that lever up and get her in four-wheel drive. The key to going down a hill is being in control at all times, because you can't stop going down a hill. So make sure you're in a really low gear. You really don't have a chance to downshift when you're going down a hill. You need to be in the gear that's slow enough that you can maintain control the whole way down. If it starts running away on you and your engine starts going faster and faster, do not push the clutch, because your engine is helping you slow down. Just push on the brake and add the power of the brakes to your engine trying to slow down. Cut that throttle all the way down to an idle. Push on the brakes. Make sure you don't lock your tires up, but help your engine slow down and try and keep it at a pace while you're going down the hill. If you cut your engine to an idle, your engine's not going to be fighting your brakes until it drops down to idle speed, and by that time you're back in control and you'll be fine. There's a reason there's a little warning sticker back here. There's a guard over it. Be very, very careful. When you engage this PTO, it will not stop unless you disengage it. So if you come back here and get your pants caught in the PTO shaft, you're gonna have a really bad day. There'll be a shaft that comes and hooks up to here for a feed buggy or something. Do not step over that, don't get close to it. Try and keep your guards maintained so that it has a guard on it. Be careful going across sides of hills, especially if you have loaders and stuff. It makes it a lot more tippy. Just take your time and get used to your tractor, and don't do anything stupid. I'm gonna scoop some dirt so you can see how the loader works.